Okay. All right, we will start the meeting in Administration and Legal Affairs Committee, Monday, April 8th, 2024, 5 p.m. That's called order 2.0 prayer. Anybody interested?
I can do that.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Frick.
Heavenly Father, we ask that you would bless each one of the members that are here this evening. We ask that you would give us wisdom as we make decisions, and we thank you for each one of these people that are here that are willing to take time to help us to improve our community and our county. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. All right, 3.0, approval of agenda.
Move to approve.
Second.
Second, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous. 4.0, approval of meeting minutes from March 11th, or excuse me, March 13th, 2024.
Move to approve.
I will second those. I didn't see anything that needed to be changed or was incorrect. Okay.
I thought
Did
I
you
saw
see
something, I just have to confirm I wasn't imagining it.
Okay.
Can't find it. Must not have been a big deal.
Okay. Any other discussion? All right. Those in favor of approving the meeting minutes, thank you. Say aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous as well. Okay, we are at 5.0, approval of claims. And I have a total of $52,916.85. Just for the record, almost 35,800 of that was election expenses. That's why that's up a little bit this month. So
Nice work.
necessary evil, right?
Spent.
Yeah, well spent. So,
I'll move to approve.
okay. Second by Mr. Monroe. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
6.0, public comments. I do not see anybody here. So we will move on. 7.1, county treasurer.
Thank you. So I did pass out my report, so you should have a synopsis in front of you, so I'll hit the highlights, but, so I don't remember the exact total that you just read there, but my claims are about 1/5 of 1% of that, so the 136.89, lead by example, right? So there you go. So you do have the last night or yesterday afternoon before the game, I sent everybody a link to the report. I didn't know if anybody had any questions. The numbers look up and down a lot between the last couple months, and that's because of the investments maturing. So like $5.25 million came out this month, next month another $6 million. So it's gonna be kind of revolving because I'm gonna try to continually reinvest as long as rates are, are favorable than like we get from money market accounts. So other than that, we're in great shape. Most of the funds, that is, are in great shape. So property taxes. So I don't want to steal the clerk's thunder, and she's going to share some information about all the fun that she's having right now. But once she completes her process, it rolls to me. Our software provider, printing and mailing company, trustee agent are all on deck, ready whenever we are to roll. Right now I'm customizing some of the online payment templates that we'll be using with Invoice Cloud when that goes live. We've tested it with mobile home data. It's great. Tested the text alert reminding you to make your tax payments, and all the payment options are all in place, including, I think someone asked me about this, an e-check. So you can pay your tax with e-check for like $4, I think. So one of the other things we do offer that's slightly ahead of last year is tax prepayment. We have some people who leave town and aren't around or don't want to forget, or for some people there is a tax advantage to paying ahead of time. We only have about 25 of those parcels this year. So we're ahead of last year, but about half of where we were 2 years ago. So, but I wish more people took advantage of it, of how many times we get the I forgot, reason. So that would be great for them. Today I spent most of the day working on audit. I really feel like we're getting close, but I'm kind of afraid to say that with 100% confidence, because as soon as I do, something else comes up. But they are wrapping up the cash testing, which is a really big chunk of what happens here. I had to work on things that we don't normally take care of, like the Veterans Assistance Commission, working with them to get statements that they need, but they only need some of them. So I think they're all in place. They also needed information about the public defender supplemental funding, which I'm not sure if all of you know that, because the county board has no role in that funding. That was supposedly a one-time thing, but the auditors have to have a role there. So that was that. The only thing I'm not sure of are the status of the nursing home, and I don't know if maybe the administrator knows more than I do about the single audit for the health department. Those are the bigger pieces that I think are still in play. That's all the official business I had. If anybody has any questions, otherwise I'm just gonna remind you that several departments, including the 3 here, are going to be at the home show next weekend, trying to kickstart some outreach and information sharing with the public that departments like ours normally aren't doing because we're more administrative, but we're going to try to reach out a little bit more. And this is just hopefully the first of many events that we're gonna do that. So that is all.
Okay. Any questions or discussion? Yeah. Okay, let's move on to 7.2 county clerk.
Election on March 19th went extremely well. We had a 17.5% turnout, had the chance to go, usually just going out to the Freeport precincts, but I had the chance to go out to some of the rural precincts and thank the judges. They really appreciated seeing the clerk out and at their locations. Election day went extremely well. Last Wednesday, I certified to the state the results and still a couple more reports. Had a link report to the state today, so the election is slowly wrapping up. And then we will begin prepping for November. We had 112 election judges and communicating with the precincts. They seem pretty satisfied with the staffing at each location, but we will obviously be amping that up for November. On elections, we're gonna have the chance to have we're having our zone meeting at the Cook County Elections Operations this month, so that will be neat to kind of see how their election operation goes at a larger level. I've been able to see McHenry County and just McHenry County versus Joe Davis, Carroll County, and Stephenson. There's a big difference, so looking forward to that zone meeting later this month. Tax extension, I've been working on that. Hopefully I can roll over to Stephanie by May 1st. That is my goal. Part of that process is once I complete extension, I will send out all the tax computation reports to every district. And in the case that they disagree with any of those numbers, we communicate to change those before I certify over to Stephanie. So that will be part of this month's project. And some exciting news, last month you guys approved for the digitization project. Was thinking maybe later this year we would be able to start that project. They gave me dates last week, so the imaging will actually begin in May. So kind of a little bit on the tax side, the election side, and then the recorder side. Busy month, but looking forward to the progress. Any questions?
With the earlier start to the digitization, will that help or hinder the prep for the election? I know it's kind of separate entities, but with
Separate
more going
entities.
in.
I think it will be helpful because they're planning tentatively, depending on the project for us. It could be a couple days earlier or a couple days later, but start May 13th and I think go to the 23rd, so that's their tentative timeline. They're only gonna be in the search room, but based on I still share the floor with the assessor and the treasurer. I think that'll be a great timeline for our entire floor.
Yeah, no, they're separate, but it's also all connected.
All together at the same time, so I think the timeline they provided will work well, not only for my office, but the officers that I share a floor with.
Very good.
Oh, I did want
Sure.
to comment. I had a chance to visit a couple of the polling places during the election, and all the election judges I met were, first of all, just very friendly. But second, they all seemed like they immediately had a nice group dynamic. They seemed like teams that were just having fun together, which was nice to see. While all maintaining the organization and all that. So it was good to observe firsthand.
Agree with
Yeah,
that.
it's nice when I go to lunch and I see the judges working together, because if a judge doesn't like another judge, they will make sure to.
Okay. Alright, move on. Supervisor assessment 7.3, she's got her report in here on page 4 and 5, I believe. So if you want to take a look at that, she wasn't able to attend tonight, so I don't see anything that we need to discuss, I don't think. So how about 7.4, county administrator?
Right, well, our city-county meeting was scheduled for this morning, but the city canceled on Friday with scheduling conflicts, so that will be rescheduled. The next Greater Freeport Partnership meeting will be on the 24th. They did have a Rise and Shine event at the Lena Living Center last Thursday that I did attend. So it was kind of interesting to be in another area, nursing home, and see their amenities and things like that. The Regional Office of Education Agreement was picked up on Thursday, and Mr. Mercier came and picked it up, so he will be getting the signatures from the other counties so that I can return it to the clerk for recording. But he did come and get that. On Friday, I also met with Mr. Brummers, who will be doing a presentation at the Planning and Development Committee meeting following this meeting. I've been on the weekly calls with TCM. Also attended the Land Bank Board meeting on March 20th. On March 26th, I took part in the Agricultural Advisory Committee meeting down at the Farm Bureau, and it was, for someone who's not in agriculture, it did feel like it was informative and a good event. I learned some things, and
Glad to hear.
definitely listening to the conversation I thought was productive. So department head meeting will be on Wednesday. Mr. Bell from ICRMT, who is our risk management person for the county, will be here kind of walking department heads through setting up their own NeoGov portals, which is the online training portal that we have access to free as being a part of the ICRMT. So have that slated for Wednesday. Wellness screenings, today was day 3 of 4, so they will wrap up on Wednesday. Thank you to Stephanie for manning the one this morning that started really early. And someone from her office will be helping Ryan at the last site on Wednesday, but the numbers seem to be up so far from last year, and some positive feedback we've gotten so far from that. So that is about all.
When's the department head meeting?
Wednesday morning.
This Wednesday? Are you in Springfield?
I will be leaving as soon as the department head meeting is
Gotcha.
over to go down.
Any questions? Okay. About 7.5, IT manager.
I've got a piece of new business that we'll be discussing here in a little bit. Just a lot of stuff going on. I can't remember if I reported last month or not, but we have all the new switches in from Arrow, and they're up and running. We've got office moves still happening, which has caused quite a bit of work. I think I spent about 3 weeks working on trying to get the mezzanine connected to the sheriff's network due to how the wiring in the courthouse is. That was a fun, make me question my life. But we were able to finally get it done. That's the thing, the courthouse is so old and there's so many wires in the ceiling that people never took out when they quit using them. So to tell what's used and what's not and trace them all out, you literally could hire a crew to probably work for a full year to rip that stuff out. And then you still have to make sure, like, it's so hard to tell where things junction and where they go. Tony and I had the schematics out of the courthouse trying to trace how we could run cables or how we could get it from where the mezzanine is kind of set off from the rest of the courthouse because it sticks out the back of the courthouse. So it's not under technically any of the floors. So it just made it that much more difficult. And long story short, it's finally done. And I hope they're done moving offices around because it's those type of things that cause, it's something that should be simple, but with the way the courthouse is, it's not very ideal. So We got that done. Three Rock is down an employee for about 2 or 3 weeks, which has caused a little more stress as well, because usually when I'm busy or overflow, they're my first call and says, hey, I'm a little backed up here. Can you run over here? So tickets our response time's still pretty good, 24 to 48 hours. I don't think we get too much outside of that unless we have an issue, but it'll be a little more delayed with everything that's going on. So they should get him back in about 3 weeks, and then we should be back to status quo for that. But then the circuit clerk got approved for the grant, which turns into a bunch of work as well on top of the ticket. So just a lot going on. We did receive an email from a constituent through Jim Hart on the county board asking about election security and asking what steps we've taken. And then we actually had already done everything that they were asking. So Jasmine's been pretty proactive. We met with the state cybersecurity unit. We've had an audit in here. So we were able to, she answered that pretty quick and got back to them and hopefully put that fire out. But again, we went above and beyond for that. And then we even did some 911 testing with the phones that she shared last month, just to make sure if they have their call down in the basement or whatever, that it actually gives their correct location and that the authorities can get there in a timely fashion. So I feel pretty confident with what we've got going on. Job security. So. Any questions?
Don't come down to the flower shop if you think the courthouse is bad.
Oh,
The firefighters walk in there to do their thing and they're like, we just can't even, we just don't know. So you're good. Till next month.
I think people literally felt sorry for me on, was it Thursday or Friday? I was running that cable and I had my glasses on, so I had safety glasses. But every time you look up in the ceiling and it went over my glasses into my eyes, I had stuff in my hair. And I was like, man, if I ever get this cable terminated, and if it wouldn't have worked, you guys probably would have got a Nate Louis no longer with Stephenson. But luckily it worked and we got it done. But
You're a rock star, Nate.
it was
You really are.
it was a trying thing. IT, the biggest reason I do IT is because a lot of it wasn't manual labor, and I was doing a lot of manual labor last week. I was up in the ceiling, I was on ladders, I'm reaching for cables, and like, I don't know if this is what I signed up for, but we got it done.
Oh, man. Well, keep up the good work.
Thank you.
I know we talked about the scope of actually clearing out all those wires or separately, like you say. Would it be something we could, just thinking about future headaches, would it be something we could even do piecemeal, like one room a year, or is it too interconnected?
The problem is to trace a wire, and we've had to do some of that too, because we've had phones come up not working, and there's just no schematic of the building. If there was a schematic that we could tell, or if things were remotely labeled in the past, it would have been helpful. But I mean, there's some stuff that's semi-new, had no labeling done whatsoever. So you're guessing when a phone goes down. I can't say like, well, here's port 23, and then just go down to the basement and find port 23. We were toning out lines last week, trying to figure out where it goes. And then if you have a switch somewhere in between, that's not, you lose it. And then, it can be done piecemeal. I don't know. To me, I wish the grant would cover labor. That's the one thing the grant don't cover, because we just need to get a crew in here or something. And I mean, if I had free time, I mean, that's stuff we could really start looking at. But it seems like every time we turn around, there's a new project, which is good because we're growing and we're upgrading things. But that old stuff, it's just, and again, you had 4 or 5 IT companies in and out of the courthouse. Everybody didn't know what everybody else was doing. Sure. And it's a cluster. It really is. And that's the best way I can put it. And you get up there sometimes and I'll ask Tony, I'm like, are these telephone or are they electric? Because, I don't fully know what all of them are either. And he's like, no idea. So I've seen some in the floor cut off. I mean, they literally cut them off, but they didn't pull them. So, it just would have taken a little more effort to keep us out of what we're in. But when you get 5 people in, they can blame each other. That's what happens. So
I'm assuming you're labeling things.
As we go, we are labeling things, and we keep things as we know where they're at. And but I'm telling you, it's interesting up in those ceilings.
Oh, boy. Okay. All right. I think that's it for that. All right, let's move on to old business. 8.1, review and approval of countywide Adobe agreement. If we have anything on that one, right?
Table it.
We're gonna table, I'll make a motion to table that one. We want to take that off next month, or what do you think? We've had it on there for about 4 months, so. I thought-
Yeah, I mean, why don't we take it off, and when
Let's
I
get it
have
off.
something, I'll just bring it back to
I'll
you.
table it.
If they would just give us a quote, but everybody wants to sit down for a 2-hour presentation and meeting, and that's just time I don't have to.
So I'll make a motion to table indefinitely.
Was a sneeze.
It was?
Yeah, I know, it really weird. Oh, I'll second that.
I got
Oh,
a second,
sorry.
so, all right. Any further discussion on that one? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. 8.2, review and approval to adopt county code chapter 38-12 for waiver and release of liability for contractors and vendors, which also ties into 8.3, review and approval of waiver and release of liability agreement for contractors and vendors. As you may have noticed, looking at that in the packet, tried to simplify that as much as possible. So we actually removed the vendor part off of there. And now it's just for contractors and independent contractors. So basically anybody's coming into county-owned property or public buildings, including not limited to the nursing home, county and highway building and courthouse, performing work shall have either the certificate of insurance or a waiver. And we prefer the certificate of insurance.
Can I ask a question for clarification?
Yes, yep.
So I would consider Three Rock a vendor, but they do come into our buildings. Well, they own this one, but the courthouse and stuff. So even though they're a vendor, I need to have them sign that. It sounds like they're more of a contractor.
They're probably a contractor. I would see if we can get them to sign a waiver and release liability form.
Well, I guess
Is there something in their contract?
there is.
already?
That was my other question with
If they
this,
already have
because we've
something
already
in there,
entered
we're
a
good,
legal agreement that basically says their liability, unless they royally are the sole purpose for screwing something up, they're not liable, and that's in the verbiage of their contract, so.
Well, I guess officially I should have a motion to approve this and then we can answer questions.
I'll
That's fine.
motion to approve.
Okay,
I'll second.
in a second. Okay, so yes, if they already have something, I think we're in good shape.
Because that was my first concern.
Sure.
We've already entered legal agreements with some of these
Sure.
people, and then if we come back and say, hey, I need to sign this on top of what we already agreed to.
We should,
Not that they would have pushed back, I don't think, but,
no, if we already got something in place, we shouldn't have to go back.
Seems redundant.
okay.
Yeah. The main thing is we just have that as we work on these contracts and we just kind of keep it on file in case there is an issue, then we've got it ready, handy, that kind of thing. So,
No, and I want you guys to understand, I completely understand the concept.
sure.
I was just worried about the legalities of what we've already signed.
Yeah. And probably made it a little bit more complicated than it needed to be, but that's how an engineer works, so anyhow. Any other discussion on this? I think we're gonna go ahead and try to vote on both of them, that's okay. If we can,
I'll make a motion to approve.
on both of them, okay. At
I'll
one time,
second.
and a second. Any other I will make a discussion about the liability form. That actually came from our state's attorney, so he's on board with that. And so we're gonna use that when we don't have a certificate of insurance. And the example, that came from Kerry McWright for that insurance thing, so. All right, any other discussion? Okay, all those, yes,
I was just gonna say,
Sure.
in the last month, we've gotten 2 certificates of insurance mailed to our office. And so some department heads must be getting the word out that we need them because we haven't been able to track down exactly.
okay.
But we've started a central file
Okay.
and have it, so.
Yeah, just kind of hang on to those and hopefully we never need them, but we've got them then, so. All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
So moved. Okay. All right, we have new business 9.0. We have 9.1 approval of CrowdStrike renewal for 2024. You want to address that one?
No, that's me.
That's you. I thought that was yours.
But hey, if you want to address it, I'll. Oh, Nice. Well, they may take you up on that because we are up for renewal. We went with a year-to-year because we were on the intrusion guarantee. That we took the package where if we get hacked for any reason or whatever,
Sure.
I'm going to be completely transparent here because I asked, our rep is no longer there. Maybe know why they're no longer there, but got a quote. Our quote is about $2,400 more than what it was last year. And that's just due to the price of inflation. There's been a lot of IT changes in the market. Companies have bought other companies and they're really driving the price up when it comes to protection, VMware, and it's probably a valid ploy on their end with being an election year.
Yeah.
So to be honest, $2,000 for what we're getting year to year isn't a whole lot in the grand scheme of things of what we're paying. I did ask them, I'm like, I just want to make sure that we still have the $1 million intrusion guarantee. And she came back in the email, she goes, $100,000, yes. And I was like, okay,
No.
you're missing a few zeros there. I'm like, I was told last year when we did this and it said physically $1 million. And she goes, that is true, but it goes on the amount of endpoints that you have on how much we actually will guarantee. So with the size of our county, it's a $100,000 guarantee if we get hacked. So I'm like, that's not what your sales guy said last year. And she basically said, yeah, that's probably why he's not here. So
Oh, nice.
yeah.
Okay.
So, just to be fully transparent, I'm still really confident in the product. And I mean, they've kept us top notch for a year. They have caught a few things and let me know, and they stopped it before it happened. Nothing major. It's not like we were getting a full blown virus for the county, but it's been on top of things and very good. Yeah.
Okay.
So, we went from like 34,200, I think last time, to like 36,587.49 for this.
You've got an account for this somewhere?
We do. We didn't plan for, I suppose we should add in a little bit of inflation, but we didn't. So that line item, but I will more than likely have money left in other line items in my budget. So.
Okay, good. All right, very good. Any other questions? Okay. Yes, Chairman?
So 100,000 per endpoint.
Nope. 100,000 for the county.
So if something gets through.
Yep.
They're only paying 100,000.
Correct.
Do we have cyber liability through ICRMT?
We do.
And how would that piggyback off of that?
That I don't know because I don't know what we get from them.
Can we check into that by board meeting, please? Because 100,000 is not going to do it. It's not even close.
Now, what I will say is that there aren't, and I can't say many or any, this isn't a normal guarantee from these type of companies.
Sure.
So I don't know that you're going to find anything better on the market, but I agree. Our cyber insurance, and I do know we have it, I just don't know what our.
Cyber liability should cover 90% of it, but when you have two policies like that, they're going to fight over who pays first.
Gotcha.
And I don't know, is there a deductible on this one?
Not for this one, no.
Yeah, let's look at the cyber liability, please, because that should be a county of our size and the number of endpoints. I mean, it should be probably 5 million or more.
Yeah, we got 300 endpoints, but they said it had to be up closer to 1,000 to get the $1 million guarantee. We're just not the size that they pay top dollar for, if that makes sense.
Right, yeah, I get it.
I'm glad I asked because I didn't see it in any other quote. I'm like, we still get this, right? And then when she threw up that amount, I'm like, okay, you're missing some zeros here. Like, what's the deal?
So we comfortable moving ahead?
Do you have anything in
Are
writing
you comfortable?
What do you mean in writing?
Okay.
from the other sales rep that says?
I mean, it literally says, like what we got, they do have the $1 million guarantee, but what they didn't do is there's nothing in there that has the endpoint breakdown. So we physically sign a contract or we get the quote confirmation from CDW and not CrowdStrike directly. There is no
So there's nothing in writing that stated
correct.
that we would get $1 million.
Correct. It just basically goes off the bundle you have in the Falcon Complete.
I just thought there was something in writing, we could use that.
Right.
Well, yeah. And even if we had it last year, it would be moved because our contract's out, so.
I motion to approve the renewal.
Thank you. I'll second it. All right. No further discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. All righty, 10.0, comments from committee members. Anybody? Okay. 11.0, public comments. Nobody's here. And 12.0, adjournment.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Can I take this moment to remind those who have not been your fraud letter to turn it in? You did a long time ago, but there are several people who did not.
I mailed it to you yesterday after I got my third notice.
I didn't send the notices, so.
I know, but I'm like,